Welcome back to the LCS Proving Grounds presented by Verizon. We are getting closer, Raz, to crowning our first ever Proving Grounds champion. And in a fun twist of fate, Noorg are looking for the run-back 3-1 victory over Cloud9 Academy, just how it happened to them in the upper bracket.
Like, just imagine that. Just the storyline of Noorg, their journey throughout Proving Grounds, and being the first Proving Grounds champion as a team that is unsponsored. Like, to me, that's insane. And I love a story like that. And I hope it, like, if it does end up happening, if the players get the respect that they do, they're on that train. But C9 are going to be that, like, beast on the track to stop them. So I want to see if they push it through a Game 5.
Yeah, very curious to see how the draft shakes out. So I believe Cloud9 selected blue side for this game, but I will find out shortly, as we do have the game rolling in a minute or two's time. I guess just considerations to kind of think about here. It does feel like the games that Noorg have won have like kind of been in the style we anticipated, right? Where they get an early lead and just don't let go.
Yeah.
And it's hard to pinpoint exactly why Cloud9 are letting things happen, because it's not necessarily draft or like bad play. I think they're just kind of getting got sometimes. Maybe it's a bit of sloppiness here and there, but Noorg are doing a very good job of getting a lead and then building on that lead.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I love the fact that the analyst desk really focused on that Rift Herald fight, where C9 doubled down on the Rift Herald, looked for it, of course didn't end up getting it, at least like it was left on the ground because they had to go. Like they were dealing with Noorg fully committing to a fight, while Cloud9 didn't have their AD carry there, came in a little later. I think they're just not choosing the right fight, perhaps getting too hyphy, while Noorg are committing as 5. So it's on Cloud9 to either commit more members to these objectives or play more respectfully in those moments. That if they say, okay, we're not going to have our AD carry in the fight, then just don't fight. It's harder than it sounds, because if you're in the game, it can bleed into, well, are we, like, how much damage does he do? Like, how do we do it fair in a team fight? They feel confident, and that's who they are as players, confident players. So we might see the adaptation being Cloud9 just opting into those 5v5s.
Yeah, I mean, I think either way, I'd be very curious to know what, Coach Westrice is telling them here. Is it like, you've got the right idea, just like play together and like go for it, or just like play back a little more, right? Maybe they feel more confident in their teamwork and their team fighting as a team, right? That's kind of how they won the first series when they played Noorg in the upper brackets. So I wonder if they've decided to kind of match the aggression with more aggression, or if they want to maybe default back to that style a bit more, because we haven't seen any Jinx this series, which was a big highlight for King last time they played.
Yeah, it's interesting because remember, the main Cloud9 team throughout their finals in their best of 5, they aired more on the side of like individual playmaking because they had perks in that respect. In this one, last game they had the Camille for Darshan when they're on red side. This time around, I think that when they get pushed, they're going to be more of a team play heavy team. Going to go back to, they didn't get the Scion, maybe they get the Ornn. Like, I think that's what they'll go back to, a successful team fight strategy that they had in the past.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but Hecarim continues to be the first pick for either team here, as Akali, Seraphine, Sylas, Sion, Tristana, and Orianna with the 6 bans here in phase number 1. Gonna take away the Rel. This is actually the first time we've seen Rel and Hecarim not be on the same team, which is kind of cool. We've seen a lot of denial of that particular, haven't seen denial of that combination until now, as Anda perhaps thinks about Jungle Poppy once again.
Yeah, it was a Tristana ban from Noorg on red side, so they were concerned that was going to be a Tristana first pick, especially since both junglers are available, and we saw, teams deciding to go jungle on 3-picked and being fine with the trade. So in this case, the trade's going to happen once again. It's going to be Rel with Udyr, as you mentioned. Kai'Sa and Xayah might end up just being the trade. I want to see what Cloud9 Academy end up going for here. With Orianna being bad, I forgot to mention that one. Remember the last game I said that Orianna for me was interesting because that is just such a great early pick. But Noorg just knew that they were going to give away the Hecarim, so why give them Orianna Hecarim? So I like that quite a lot.
Looks like they are going to be going back towards the Jinx.
There it is.
Maybe Thresh here for Isles. Going to be Alistar instead against the Rel. But King has decided that he does want to go back to more of the scaling ADs.
Pretty surprising that it's going to be a Jinx with... Sure, Alistar has a lot to peel for their AD carry. Insta-Luck and the Kai'Sa. Makes sense. But, easy to pick off a Jinx. We've seen multiple instances of that. Remember, Luger's had moments on his Jinx as well when 100 Thieves Academy were playing, where if you don't have the Thresh or the Tahm Kench, and if you're just out without a flash versus the multiple ways in which the enemy team can engage, you're just going to die. So a lot of confidence in King that he can play out regardless of that.
Syndra also banned here, so attacking some of the control mages again.
Yeah.
See if Victor makes another appearance on the ban list for either team here, but Cloud9 Academy are going to have to show us a little more of what they're thinking. We've seen a lot of this in this series, right, where jungle plus bot lanes are picked by both teams, and then they kind of decide which solo laners they want to ban away.
Yeah.
For Noog, this has technically been a strength for them in the sense that they can be very flexible with how they pick and find good counter picks for Viper. But we also saw when they're on blue side, like Viper just takes a power pick he wants and crushes with it too. So definitely can't underestimate them on either side of the map.
Yeah, that's why they're probably taking a long time to figure out what ban. I mean, okay, so Noorg is the ones up banning, but I'm wondering if Cloud9 want to ban the Jace as an example, because there's the Ornn ban again. Noorg are just going to play blind pick, carries top lane like that Jace, and it's going to be on Cloud9 to figure out a response. Now, last time I was thinking Aurelia, but as I said going into this game, it seems like Cloud9 just want to team fight. Aurelia is a little difficult to team fight, especially versus Rel and Udyr stun and lockdown. So I wonder what Darshan's going to air to instead.
Yeah, gonna be probably Sion if he gets put through it. Oh, it was banned. Never mind. He's gonna have to take another tank, I guess.
Taking away those
Malphite was banned last
boys.
game. Well, there's Victor let through though. I just realized that with the Nard ban second there for C9A, that gives Fire a very powerful mage.
Yeah, they got a lot of great front to back here for team fighting. Noorg does. But this is the opportunity. This is the time in which we find out what the pick is going to be blind for Darshan. And also as well mid lane. So, but mid lane does know. Maybe we get a Zoe mid. Oh, okay, Gragas. Forgot that one's up and available. So that is not going to be the ban this time around.
Yeah, always a tank there for Darshan on the top side. Does make sense, right? When you're picking something like Jinx, you're pretty much committing to like the more standard, slower style that you've shown off already in the series. Good call out on the Zoe. That is the counter pick there for Copy.
So it is just going to be a Zoe game. It's going to be if they find a Sleepy Trouble Bubble on someone, they can punish it. In a straight team fight, do it. Do it. I want to see it. Okay, we're just playing around. All right, Big. It's fine. Right. You can do a lot.
That one would be spicy.
Let's see. He's going into Gragas. Yeah, this is... I mean, you can go a lot here. The range makes sense. So it's going to be a set. Okay. But
interesting. This is like one of the more different champions that... like of the ones Viper has played already. With the Ocean that he has played in so far this tournament.
Could it be? Remember, Fire has been the one that's played it. Victor has been a top laner in the past. This is interesting to see. I think Victor is fine versus Gragas, and he can farm in that matchup. This is just how hilarious it is. If you're going up against Noorg, you really don't know where these champions are going between Fire and Viper. All right, we're just gonna swap it back. But remember, 20 seconds is the lockdown timer. There it is. It's gonna be Victor mid. It's going to be the top lane there for Viper.
I like that they at least pretend, right?
Yeah.
Because if you would show me that draft, I would have been like 0 chance. Like even before the last pick that that Victor isn't going mid. So the fact that they even made me question it kind of speaks to the flexibility that this team has and how much they can draw on in these kind of drafts, especially on the red side, which is really fun to watch.
Yeah. And it makes you appreciate the 20-second time that you have to swap your runes and your rune stats. You're like, all right, am I going into an AD matchup or an AP matchup? Please let me know. So, get that opportunity to get the right lock in there for it. But yeah, so that's going to be a set top lane, meaning that they're just going to look for team fights. Now, in the past, the set has been great with Blade of the Rune King, Trinity Force, just stay on side lane and really bully tank. So that's been an identity that he's had in the past. But I think in this case, just go straight tank. Team fights should look really good for you with the Victor pick. You can set up the Victor really well. So I think Noorg has a great team fight comp ready for him.
Yeah, which is interesting because they're kind of meeting Cloud9 where they're looking to play, right? Which has not been the strategy we maybe expected. We've definitely expected more of what we've seen from Viper, which is more aggressive, more carries. I mean, they've got a game to give away if they absolutely have to, right? So I do like that they're at least going to challenge, the Jinx team fighting comp from Cloud9 by just saying, you know what, we can out team fight you, which is a pretty bold statement given the comp Cloud9 have drafted.
And that's the thing. When you have a Jinx and an Alistar, you instantly think in your back of your mind, that is a great team fight comp. Like, that's something that you would, put a lot on. But the issue is with the Zoe's DPS fluctuates based off of how the team fight starts, right? Like, because she's really reliant on getting her initial poke down. Otherwise, the fight is really difficult for her. The front line is going to make her life hard. If it's a messy fight, then yeah, she can go wild. But in a sustained battle, DPS is going to be there for no org. So that's why it's going to be interesting to see. Especially just seeing how Seth's going to play it out. He's starting it off with a Doran's Blade instead of a Doran's Shield. So I'm expecting, just as per usual, we're playing up towards top side, and we're going to make it so we have set up on towards Gragas if a gank is to come, and also just, trying to harass him.
Love the panache out of Viper. Going for something a bit more aggressive to kick things off. Standard setup here across the river, though, so no one is getting too wild. They have seen supports pretty consistently drop wards and go get sweepers, I believe, which is why there's a couple wards hanging out. Unless I'm misreading the thing incorrectly, which could be a thing, as Copy is playing jump rope here in mid lane.
You got a red trinket here from the Rel, so Big does have one. Actually, double red trinket, so there's going to be a lot of good vision being cleared out in the bot side of the map. But Udyr is going to be pathing bot to top to support the Set. Set actually is getting a ward down to an enemy blue, so he's going to get a lot of information on this first clear. I think this is really nice from Norg. So even though Schernfire is going to go for a full clear, if we do see Schernfire get their top lane faster, then it's great information for Viper to know when to play safe.
Yeah, so much of, top lane info is like just smart deductions based on, where they could be and what you see them do or not do, and even just having a ward and knowing those timers in your head, which these junglers will know, can definitely get you the information you need.
Yep.
Bottom side, I feel like, has also been kind of the side of a bit more attention than maybe we expected. Certainly early on, they've been very willing to play into each other, so I wonder how King is going to approach this particular game. Been a bit of a quieter series from him, honestly. But I guess in the game they won, he looked really good, so going to have to show off here, certainly on Jinx, now that the team is up against the wall, as Ander straight into mid lane, perhaps.
Yeah, seeing if there's a window here for a flash bear slap. He's not really just looking for a gank and some damage.
Always worth a try. Firefire in there as well. And that's a big amount of damage. Flash picked up though by Copy, and now Schernfire is going to get in there, trying to punish Ander as much as he can. That W's doing work. Copy's flashing in. Ander, he's dead for first blood, but Schernfire is going to donate the doubles.
Oh man, this one's hard to call which one got the better of it, because that was going to be first blood on the Hecarim. But yeah, doubles going over for Firefire, so he can stay in the lane much longer. This is Ander just trying to get a flash from Copy, and B, just damage, so it's going to be easier to play for double scuttle. But yeah, Copy's going to be able to join here too with his stolen flash, and Hecarim's just able to clean that up. So great job from Schernfire to come in and help help out the Zoe.
Yeah, it feels like kind of sets the tone for maybe how these junglers are feeling after a couple games against each other so far in this series. This is what, their 8th game against each other in this tournament?
Yeah.
Schernfire definitely getting aggressive in that particular play, but it looks like it's going to be a wash. Firefire actually enjoying a very comfortable lane with this blue buff especially, something that is a luxury you don't often get this early on.
This is
just fine here.
It's a build that I don't usually see from Zoe's. I've seen it once or twice here and there recently, which is you're not going Nimbus Cloak because you're not in the Sorceries tree. And on top of that, you're going teleport even though you don't have spellbook. So really is going to be pretty limited on the summoners that he can use. He's going to be using the summoners, of which drop down right in front of him. If a fight is happening, if it's a scrappy game, then he gets that too. So that's something that I want people to recognize, just look at, is that the Electrocute's going to be great for just any scraps that happen nearby him early on in this game. But not having Nimbus Cloak means that he's not going to be as mobile as you'd have loved to see him from the Zoe in the past.
Yeah, I think it very much what you were saying before about like the differences in these two champions and when teamfights kind of break out. Like Copy is all front-loaded damage, right, with his combo, whereas Firefire just wants to live as long as possible, kite around. So kind of in respect to that, as Schoenfire's looking for me. Oh, that's such a good bubble. Should be dead. Gravity Field's going to get pushed out of, and there Schoenfire getting the kill.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a really good timing there from the Hecarim. I didn't expect the Sleepy Trouble bubble to land. I think he gets out if that wasn't
for sure.
there. But yeah, that was just good luck from Copy. Make it happen. Now he does have teleports, so he's going to TP back to lane, but it's a nice way to get the advantage back to Cloud9.
Yeah, definitely has to make it happen, I think, here as well. I think something like this Zoe into Victor, I think you do want to be playing aggressive when you can. Try and punish Firefire early. It's really one of the few times you have to actually attack Victor. So I like that Copy and Schoenfire are teaming up for that, especially given, like, Darshan's playing weak side. King and Isles are happy if it's a farm lane down on the bottom side, and that's what it is right now. So there's not really anywhere else to go. Schoenfire just being pretty efficient with his time, luckily, and not wasting too much here, trying to poke into mid and get some successful ganks off.
Yeah, I mean, Zoe, as the game goes on, I think she scales just fine. It's like one of those things where she does have the range advantage versus all champions, including the Victor. So if she does get good poke on towards, like just one, Q on towards the Victor before an objective starts, then great. But she's just going to be playing a different game than the rest of her, teammates. But the rest are going to be looking for major ultimates like Gragas ulti, Hecarim ulti, just to set up for the team fight for Jinx. But she's really going to be really heavily focused on the setup of of the objective, the amount of poke that she gets down before it.
Yeah, definitely curious to see how more of the largest fights break out as the game goes on. There is some, I guess, some fun stuff with Jinx and Zoe, where Zoe kind of gives you the front load damage, so Jinx can get some autos and then execute someone, and then as soon as Jinx gets excited, typically you're winning the team fight because you killed somebody and your passive is proccing. So Cloud9, again, Jinx, despite being a very powerful late game carry, doesn't play like Twitch or Tristana in the same way. Certainly not someone like Twitch, right? She needs to kind of get things going and snowball the fight, but I've certainly seen King being able to do that, and this comp is set up to let him succeed in the mid to late game.
Speaking of that, bot lane right now, this is going to be a later base from Cloud9's bot. Maybe Bing is going to try and cancel that out. I think something that I'm looking towards is, Value and Big are going to get back to lane first. They're going to be able to push this one out, specifically the Kai'Sa will. And I think that could turn into an early dragon here from NoOrg. Should be Udyr being able to pick up his Gromp, then Wolves, and maybe looking for it. It just depends on what that will look like. But in the end of the day, you're right. It's just going to be both teams farming up here with a huge start. 2 kills on towards Schoenfire.
Yeah, good early game here for the Hecarim, certainly. Got the Cinder already finished, so you're going to have a speedier camp tank, which is always nice.
Yeah.
For these initiation-style junglers. Also, Dragon did have some vision around it from NoOrg, but I think some of it's been cleared, although right now, there is a window to maybe move down there and capitalize on some of that vision. There is a controller in the back of the pit, so Cloud9 will know what's up. But if NoOrg do want to have a look at the objective and see if they maybe want to try it, they do have an opportunity if Ander wants to come on down from the Raptor camp.
Yeah, what he's doing right now is good. You don't want to be sacrificing experience to do Dragon, especially if you already have all the control down on it. So they'll see it if anything were to happen, if Hecarim was to come into the river and trying to make an attempt at it. And also they have, Value and Big who are getting the push off bot lane. So there's never a concern on Cloud9 doing it and NoOrg not being able to respond. So, and also on top of that, Rift Herald is up. Some teams will have Dragon priority so they can stack it. It's just an investment. Meanwhile, Rift Herald just gives you the gold right now. And with how NoOrg plays towards their top laner, I think they're more of a Rift Herald team than they are a Dragon team. So, I think with the push that they have bot lane, expect Big to be roaming up and for them to be willing to trade Rift Herald for C9 getting Dragon.
Certainly the games in this series have demonstrated NoOrg being a Rift Herald team. Cloud9 actually only got the first Rift Herald once so far this series, and it was last game where they got absolutely smashed and didn't even get the eyes. So
yeah.
NoOrg have definitely had control of that objective, and they're going to have control of the blue buff here as well. This actually sucks if you're the Zoe here, and Ander's going to steal it. It wouldn't even matter at that point if Shern got it. Copy's going to have to kill the Udyr if he really wants it. Ooh, actually,
this is it.
Starting off this objective.
He's doing it off of Viper's move, but That's going to be fine. Victor has to know and be telling his team that Zoe is going to get there first. Maybe they're just going to make a play on Victor now.
Oh, Exhaust into the bubble, very nicely played. Big's here there to answer quickly. TP coming down as well. Magnet Storm finds him a 5-fire dead to the ulti out of King. And now the fight maybe continues here for Cloud9 as Viper is in, getting low there, but the Ignite is down. The Onslaught of Shadows does a lot of damage, but not enough to take out Viper. Now King going to be forced to run as Value has joined in on the play. And that bubble just barely going to miss the TP coming in though. Cloud9 looking to reinforce here. Another kill in mid, surely as Ander. Low but not dead just yet, but Darshan with the party cask finds it in the center of the team and takes one more out.
Just did not calculate the fact that Darshan has TP. So Ando is going in there just trying to get the flash off copy and then get the hell back home. But, you know, Darshan says, wait a minute, I have a TP ward right here. Ends up joining the team and then ends up getting a kill for his squad. So great job from Cloud9 pushing them back. TP here to stop them on drag.
Big going back in, King going to be forced to flash away. Another TP coming in through, but Viper is able to take down the jungler, but King's taken out Big, and this could snowball massively for the Jinx's Value. Does dip away. Now Noah going to be forced to run here, but Copy still trying to chase down. Going to find Ander in the shrubbery.
All right.
Can throw the bubble as everyone's going to back away.
Yeah, so in the end, while the kill goes over to Cloud9, Rift Herald was taken by Anda throughout that. So, you know, it's a thumbs up for Anda being able to get that. But now the gold is there for Cloud9. We'll have to see what that turns into immediately. So nice Sleepy Trouble Bubble with the Jinx Rocket, so Victor is just dead instantly. Viper TPs from the top side just to see if he can help out, and he needs to flash out. Overall, this is looking really bad for Noorg, but they think they can turn around with Anda coming in, getting the flash off copy, and then look, great TP ward. They did not even think that this was happening. This is a really old ward. I don't think that they had the perfect information that it was there. Fade away from Darshan to get the kill.
And it continues.
Oh yeah, I guess we're going straight.
No.
No, okay, you were trying to trick me there, thinking we're going to see the entire fight, but Coffee's just getting opened up on.
Solo kill? No, need one more laser there. Copy able to walk out of there, but very good pressure from 5-fire there in mid lane. Looking to maybe get some plate money out of the deal. And he with the Herald already dropped it. There it is.
There we go. I was expecting that to be going to the set, but oh, wait a second.
Oh, Shun. Gotta be careful. Big plate money there.
That was nice. Split between 5-fire and Anda. Just a lot of great pressure coming out of here from both mid and top lane of Noorg. But yes, the gold lead is still there from Cloud9. A lot of it is in King. King has been a player who throughout the regular season has, you know, he's been flexible. He's the guy who's been playing the Soraka Seraphines, all these things for his team in the greater grand scheme of the comp. But it's time to see him carry. We've seen him carry before. This is the game that they need him in.
Oh, Shenfire's just blitzing up topside. That should be a kill. It's Darshan that collects it, and Viper a little too far forward. They're losing the trade to Darshan. Absolutely loses the 2v1, but at least a trade for the Dragon here on the Noorg side. They'll collect the first Dragon at just under 13 minutes.
Yeah, Noorg had the information that Hecarim was on the opposite side of the map, so yeah, you're right. Viper just playing too far forward when he knew that he was going to be on the weak side at that moment, so it happens. And now it's going to be, you know, Noorg wanting to, you know, play and stack up Dragons at this point. It's going to be difficult with King having more gold, but we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, Kraken Slayer already done for King is definitely a good sign for both fans of Cloud9 Academy and fans of Game 5s. Don't forget, we haven't had a Game 5 yet.
Here we go.
Between these two teams. And everyone has been expecting this to go the distance. Certainly these are the two teams everyone was looking for in the finals, and it would only be fitting that we get the maximum allowed games. As Copy with a gold drink, I'll let him have it. There we go.
It's a Chem Tank
I
alert.
love when Zoe uses active item.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. But it is a Chem Tank alert, as Shenfire was able to get his. Chem Tank was able to get by Darshan, so that's 2 Chem Tanks on the side of C9. There we go. I mean, the Mythics are there for Cloud9. Next fight should be in their court.
Oh, King also doing some plate damage down to the bottom side, but he's going to have to back away as the turret plating falls off. No team taking that first tower yet. Cloud9 still holding a pretty good lead here for 14 minutes through. 2,000 gold ahead. And as you mentioned, most of that concentrated onto King. Darshan still fighting up here against Viper. That's a big chunk of damage there. This is like, you know, Doran's wing only. As Darshan just let them have it 1v1. There's no jungle here. In fact, except Ander actually, that maybe he's going to make it up in time. Viper going to have to buy some time though. Showstopper popped. And Darshan wants it, but is this going to be the one that gets him killed? Viper in there with a strike breaker and the pull, Ander with the bear slap stun, and Darshan kills him anyway. Now Ander going to chase him down. He will get the counter kill, but what a play by Darshan.
I love that, man. They looked at the timer and said, they ain't going to be an objective up for some time. Why not use our resources? Great from Darshan to be able to get the cask back, but remember what he lost here. So I guess he didn't think that Ander was going to be there anytime soon. All right, the fight continues.
Yeah, Shern should have this, I think, on his own. Copy going to be out to help, but not going to even get some assist money. Shernfire does indeed slay Ander. He did at least get the tower, which was the first one of the game, so worth a bit of extra cash over to Noorg, which is nice. But it's going to be a brawl in the top side, let's put it that way, because these two players clearly not afraid of fighting each other.
Yeah, it's a scrap. And Darshan knows he's stronger here, just canceling him out with an ulti. And remember, these ult timers will be back before the next dragon comes up. So that's not going to be a concern, unless, I guess, if they if they fight for Rift Herald, that'd just be awful. But I don't think that's going to be the case. They know that they're going to be fighting for the next dragon, so completely fine. And yeah, Darshan's confident they can take that fight. So overall, doubling down, ends up getting it. It's nice to see. I haven't seen a tank Gragas in quite some time. I'd have to scrap my mind because we've seen so many Everfrost ever since that got buffed. AP Gragas top lanes. But like, it goes to show how he views, you know, C9's win condition. He goes towards an AP Gragas that, you know, you lose that one tank and one form of protection for King. I think both are fine, especially if you have a lead. There's definitely a case of going AP, but yeah, I mean, he's now thicker, so we take that.
Yeah. Definitely gonna have to be playing frontline here for this Jinx that is getting ever stronger, almost up to 2 items right now. Shernfire is continuing to find fights that he likes. This has been a really good Hecarim early game for Shernfire so far. Been very active, very involved, and able to find some good spots as well to pick up some pressure in the top side. In particular, it's going to be ward clearing here because we're a minute away from this Infernal Dragon spawning.
The one cooldown that will not come back in time for this dragon is Darshan's flash, though. So used flash to get the kill, but just going to hope that he's not going to need it with the camp tank. They found another fight.
Yeah, Copy, the one under fire. Shernfire now trying to run away as he escorts his Zoe out safely. Shernfire forced to ulti. Big cooldown to lose outside this dragon.
Don't know how Coffee got caught
That's a bad
here.
bush spot.
Oh, man.
He doesn't get hit. Oh, he's flashing in.
way.
He knows. There's people in there. He just blind flash ultis over the wall. What an absolute beast.
That's hilarious. Was super close to getting the kill on Copy, but now for sure we'll get second dragon for Noorg.
I like it. I like the play. Knows that people are in there. Cancel some backs. Do some damage. Remembered Copy was low probably as well. So it looks kind of funny, but pretty high value flash ulti there over the wall for Victor, as Noorg will indeed set themselves up for dragon number 2 value though. In the meantime, chilling in mid here, has to be a bit careful up against Copy.
Yeah, just a bit. Seems like C9 are just going to beeline it towards the objective, so they don't care that they don't have Hecarim ultimate.
Oh, I warned him. I really tried to warn him. Darshan with the dunk at the end of the day. TP's coming in for 2 here. Shernfire here's going to collapse. In onto Viper, right under the snap traps he goes. The W's not going to be enough to save him. King's on a killing spree, and Cloud9 finding the maximum punish here. Oh my goodness, Ander back into the tower as well as Copy's not even going to die. And now King's popping absolutely off as Shernfire takes out Fire.
It is a snowball. Noorg felt like they should have been in position after Copy used his flash, almost died. Hecarim used his ultimate. They felt like they should be able to take this fight, but Value gets caught off guard, slowed by the exhaust, set up for the Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Boom. He's gone. What a play from Cloud9 overall. And yeah, Viper TP'd in the back. He thought he could get a setup, but they are just too far back in this game now.
And Anders headbutted away, trying to kill Coffee. Doesn't grab it there. King's just continuing to chase people. Fire can't get away at all. Really good paddle start angle by Copy. Just barely skimmed it past Big. He was crashing down in front of his AD, trying to block it.
Yeah.
But had it there. Had the Jinx ulti coming in as well. That wasn't even needed because Darshan was there first with his ultimate. And it is the Dragon as well, I believe, for Cloud9, as they do pick up their first of this game and tie up that objective as well. So looking like a Cloud9 game here. 4,000 gold ahead with the Jinx comp.
Yep.
Feels pretty good.
And it's funny, because the people who have the gold are their win conditions here. King is huge, 3-0 and 3. He's now looking towards his Infinity Edge, has his Phantom Dancer. Darshan and Churnfire, the frontliners, are tanky. They are huge. So now if you're Nororg, being able to, puncture through the enemy front line is hard as hell. Copy is the ultimate support, 0, 0, and 9 here. Doing a great job setting up for his squad. Almost died last fight, as you said, but yeah, I mean, this is getting harder now for Nororg.
Yeah, and Cloud9, not even done really. Taking the last outer tower that's weak in top side. He's looking for more fights here. Firefire just way too far forward on that sideline, and Darshan's going to collect credit for that kill.
Yeah, that one was just wild. You had no control through mid. You had no vision in the area there as well. So I think he probably was caught off guard because he did have a few wards in the enemy red side jungle. But if you lose full control of river and mid lane like that, that's just going to happen.
Yeah, especially with, Jinx and Zoe. So easy for them to start damaging you from such a long way away.
Yeah.
Kind of thing where if the dual lane's returning, King can just switch to Rocket and chase you, right? Doesn't even need to really do much more than that. As Firefire punished for trying to take some farm there in the bottom side of the map. Copy going to push all the way through to the bottom side tier 2. And big, oh goodness, it's Jinx, man. Just so, when she's ahead, it's brutal to play against.
Yeah, you're right. It's tough to deal with. Now the vision that Nororg, put in the effort to set up for is just going to go. As C9 is just, not only are they setting up for that, but the ultimate objective is top lane outer turret. And Viper knows it. He needs to leave out of there. He needs to get out of dodge, as Spawn would say, for the top lane turret. And there you go. That's another objective now for Cloud9. This top lane turret's going to be going to Gragas.
Yeah, just much more space now. We've got Baron on the table for either team. Both decent at it, but it's Cloud9 with the control, which is not something they've had, certainly in the losses they've received, but even then, Nororg have generally done a pretty good job of getting ahead early on. And then kind of, it's Cloud9's job to battle back and see what they can do. This game, though, was different, right? Cloud9 just, every advantage they could have won has been given. Even this one, Anda's going to be denied this. Oh my goodness, that XP difference. That is a joke. That is a joke. Look at it. 3 levels up for Churnfire.
No. Yeah, he is a homeless bear right now. He is running the hell out of there. He does not want anything to do with it. Now he just finished up his force of nature, so thankfully for that, I mean, he's getting his items.
So much experience.
He's just not getting anything else.
He's got the most.
Yeah. A lot of experience.
Poor Anda.
It's crazy out here. Yeah, you're right. It's wild. So now for Nororg, if they want any way to come back into the game, yeah, you're going to need a few quarterback-like throws from Cloud9. But also, you do have ways to absorb, right? If they try to dive you mid, you have the set, HP and all that is W as well. There are a few things that if they overextend, they can die. I think you just can't overextend versus Nororg's comp. Victor is another opportunity. Okay, well, you need to get out of there, Anda. He's playing his limits. Absolutely.
Yeah, if we've learned anything, it's that, oh goodness. It's that Copy hits every bubble that is preceded by exhaust. Oh goodness, that ulti get blocked by Big. But now that's going to give him space on this tower. Darshan looking for the play. Finds the slow, but again, it's the tower they want, and the tower they shall get.
It's hilarious. Jinx is so fed that they're effectively a poke comp. You're not going on to that one, Anda. Sleepy Trouble Bubble in the Jinx W, ulti, all these things from such long range, from downtown, you can't really deal with it. All right.
Miles, what a feint there. Now on a Firefire they go. Churnfire's found the angle. It's King that's now on a rampage. Going to take down 2 here as Anda falls to the Jinx, and Cloud9 just baiting him in and picking up 2.
Isles just says enough of this. Just go straight in there, and now 2 are dead. These are long death timers. 30 seconds on Anda and Firefire, so that's going to be an inhibitor. And they can just back away. I wonder if they choose Baron. Baron should be the choice here, even with Dragon up. This is not going to be a soul game. It's accelerated too quickly.
Yeah, have to agree. Again, especially because the Dragons are split. I've got Smite here for Copy as well that he picked up, so it's going to be even easier for them to take down this Baron. Andrew not up for 8 seconds, and I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to this Baron pit unless Noah can run some interference here. First smite already down for Copy. Turnfire's ready with his. Taking a little bit of damage here. Viper going in. Looking for the stride breaker. Copy though, as Darshan plays interference on the value. They have to cut it out. What a magnet storm! Oh my god, Noah! They found the angle in the fight as Isles is going to fall to value. Darshan, now the next target is value. Just chasing down Copy. Asleep at the wheel though as Kaiser does die to Darshan at the end of the day. But Noah, they found a miracle fight to give themselves the Baron.
Viper, man. And the rest of the team saw the play too. That turns this game on its head, and it's going to be Baron for Noorg. Just take a look at this. Straight in there, stride breaker. He knew that even with the first one getting bopped out, all straight into 4 people, and Rel sees the play. That was a great combination from both Viper and Big to make that play happen.
Nice bubble here from Copy to make sure that you get at least 1 back. But not so lucky after that, as there's the 4th kill, and the Baron, of course, did go over to Noorg in the replay, and we are back in business on the Noorg side.
Yeah.
We're still trying to keep that 3-1 run back alive.
They're on holiday, but they're back, you know. 9 a.m., clock strikes. They're now at work. It's insane. So, like, the 2 players that I feel like have been astronomical this series have been Big and Viper. And I think in that play, that is probably the best example, one moment in which they took control of this game.
Yeah, that was an unreal combo. I mean, I thought they were just going to like try and get them off the Baron at least, and they had way bigger plans than that. As Cloud9 at least get this Dragon for themselves. Still up ahead, right? Like, don't have Baron buff, still up 2,000 gold, still have the big Jinx with 3 items. Like, the pieces are still here for Cloud9 Academy to push this to a game 5, but Noah are going to make them work for it. If that last encounter is any indication. And it feels like Cloud9 are actually doing a really good job of not overstepping their boundaries, which they have done a couple times already in this series. And it doesn't seem like an overstep, but Noah find just a little window in. As Anders still going, oh my goodness, he's the speediest bear alive. Turnfire going to kite back from Viper, but again, Cloud9 going to have to give up this blue buff as King is pushing through bot lane solo.
Okay, you know what this reminds me of? Old Direwolves enthusiasts out there. Split push King, I know the feel. But yeah, if you're this far into the game, right, and it feels like you can't defend for topside jungle or really some of these inners, then yeah, it's a good call for him to just go straight down Burling bot lane. So it's going to be a stalled out Baron push here from Noorg. Pretty costly now that you have 1 minute left here. I guess all it's going to do is get you back into the game really close in gold, but it's still a gold lead from Cloud9, so overall, it's not going to have that much of an impact.
Yeah, kind of just resets the playing field a little bit here, catches you up, but for the most part, you know, supers are in mid. King was, I think, guessed correctly at that point, pushing out one of the other lanes, and the Baron push is basically stymied here for Noorg. So we'll reset back into this Dragon that's up in 3 minutes, as Baron's going to wear off in 30 seconds, and probably look to play for that next Baron again here, as Cloud9 should still feel confident in this position.
And yeah, it feels like at this point, this game can go to either team. Execution is so important, and it's just how Set wants to play the game. I remember when Set first came out and people were debating on how, if he was broken or not. Obviously, like, he got completely, changed, a few nerfs here and there. But, like, the way he plays out his engage is what's so infuriating, or at least difficult to deal with if you're a team with a lead. If you have a frontliner, Darshan and Isles, then basically just using them as an entry point, ulti into E, and that's something that's usually really difficult to play because that's how Cloud9 wants to play out their team fights.
Yeah, I mean, right, when you play front to back, Set's very good at disrupting that, and I definitely saw that on display, so gonna need more of that for Noorg as the game continues on. Of note, Copy still deathless, 12 assists and 10 stacks in the Magi's, as Stoneplate now done for Viper, so gonna be even more of a nuisance. That LDR finish for King is gonna really help on the kill the frontline front.
He really will. Jinx is a great pick versus some of the tanks, especially Udyr. Having the LDR is going to make his life a little harder, being able to run and gun. that being said, you know, the entry points to the fight, as I mentioned, will be Viper and Big. I think they need to find ways around that. Zoe is just difficult in comps like these as the game goes on, because it really will be a game of Noorg can definitely out-teamfight you, unless if she gets a slick, sleepy trouble bubble. They found a pick here on Fire.
Oh, good stasis, but the traps are on top now. Big gonna counter engage. King gonna be forced to flash away as a result, but Fire still low. Copy is able to take down Big, and now Cloud9 looking for a Viper with another good 2, and they'll go to King. Viper's going in for it, but Isles is gonna move him away, and King has to keep cutting out, but Value finds it in the backline with the killer instinct. And Copy's forced to run. Noorg have done it again. It is Viper once more that finds the angle.
Wow. It was looking good from Cloud9 at the beginning. King was protected, they got the kill on Big, but Viper says, what are you doing, man? Finds a way, a stride breaker, an ultimate on top of King's head. It is a tough one, and that was King with flash and heal. Next fight, he's gonna have to do without it.
Well, we'll see what the next fight is, but let's watch this one again. This slow looks like it's inconsequential, but C9 immediately jump on Fire.
Yeah, they're too coordinated to not make do with that. So it seems like they could make a play on there, but remember, Copy helps out King. They're able to get the kill on a Big. But as you can see, the fight's not looking good from Cloud9 here until he uses Surenfire, gets into the back line. Viper is a king at team fighting.
Really strong. How did Value die? That's the thing I'm trying to figure out. Okay, well, you know what? Something for later. I believe he did die in that last fight, which didn't help Noorg's efforts to maybe try and push something out. Also, timers didn't quite line up for this Dragon. As we can see, the roller coaster ride
man,
have been on this game.
Get me off this ride.
It's going to be a 5v5 contest, though, for this Dragon.
We saw a mountain peak all the way down near parity. And this could be third Dragon here for Cloud9 if they can get it.
Oh, Viper, what a flank! He's found it, King to the backside, and he's dead. It's Viper again. That's going to maybe push Noorg to a victory here, but not done yet as Ander now chasing down Surenfire. Isles again in a 2v1 that he cannot win as it's double TPs out of there. Get him all the way out of there. Nobody wants anything to do with the rest of this play as Noorg once again find a 3 for 0 this time.
Look at the difference between the last fight to this one. Last fight, King had both of his summoners, was able to deal with the initial engage, but couldn't deal with the second wave. This time, he's just gone, man. Slumber. As the fight goes on, he's being delivered. Just crazy. And now, this is just a hard comp to play out if Viper is getting flanks like that.
Right, I mean, this is why, you know, we often see like TK or Thresh, right? Being a very common part of these Jinx comps because you need another way to protect your Jinx. Because when this happens, you just can't do anything.
Man, even with Lee Sin out of the meta, he finds a way to just redirect him back into his own team. That was just beautiful to see. Viper is incredible, and to take a tweet that he had really early on, pledging that he'll make it back to the LCS with plays like these, you have to believe it.
Yeah, certainly good advertising on his behalf here, as Noorg have turned a game around that was, what, 6,000, 7,000 gold ahead for Cloud9 Academy at one point, certainly at least 5. Now they're ahead. Only 3,000 gold, still damage to be done with 2 minutes left on the Baron buff. And it feels like even though King is like fed out of his mind, he's almost done, you know, 6 full items. There's just no way for him to do anything.
Look at the build of this set. He is unkillable. That added shield that he'll get from Aegis, and then the GA that he has in the back cap, especially with the lead that he has, by the way. C9 have to have that conversation of how they win these team fights, because that was a good pick that they tried for really early on Fire, and it just wasn't enough. It has to be on Copy's Sleepy Trouble Bubble. It has to be on Gragas's cast. They need a pick. Big would be a nice pick here, actually, but the problem with trying to use Rel as the pick is that you just find an extended engage by a Rel.
Yeah, also, Aftershock Rel, like, typically very tricky to kill.
Yeah.
So Cloud9, I mean, they're doing the right thing, right? Like, forcing him out of the jungle. King has got, like, actually massive wave clear at the moment. Good bubble there for Copy. Almost clips one. But it's Viper that's causing trouble with the Baron buff again. Still 1 minute 10 with the buff here for Noorg to try and get some pushing happening. I don't think they'll crack an inhibitor here, but they're going to do a lot of damage here as they're trying to undo the lead that Cloud9 have built.
Yeah, and Cloud9's been a team that has usually pulled the trigger really early. So they're not the type of team that wants to slowly lose out turrets. And oh man, one more
like,
tick, well, that would have killed him.
One of the other things that's like good for Victor, right, is that he can do that to ADs, right? No AD wants to walk into a Victor that can freely cast spells at you because you have to walk through lasers, gravity field, and this ult that's just constantly dealing damage to you.
Yeah.
You know, for all the double lift memes, like it's the reason Victor's good against ADs. He just like presses all the buttons and they explode. Is Viper gonna get knocked back in? But no follow up there.
Oh
Cloud9 feels like they're struggling to find a way to do this. And you said, you know, they have to have the conversation about how do they approach this game. The problem is they have to have it right now. They don't get another game to discuss in this series.
It's that multiple choice question, or a test that is, that you just don't have enough time to finish the test to do it properly. It's just, I don't know what happened during the studying part, but when you finally get to it, you just don't have enough time. And so Cloud9, you're right. I think the pick that they had on set was simply because he was isolated. But the people that they want to pick off are close to the rest of the squad. So Value is never going to put himself in that position. Big, as I said earlier, there are going to be sometimes he's in position for, you know, a cask back towards the enemy team, but you don't want Rel to be anywhere near close to King. King does have flash now, so that's a positive. But he was struggling the last time he had both sums up, so it's not going to help out.
I think the thing that I'll really take away from this series, actually regardless of the result of this game, is that like NoOrg's flexibility isn't just about like how do we give Viper the hardest carry possible, right? So you can carry. Like this set, the more I look at it, like this is just an anti-Jinx pick, right? Because Jinx is very powerful, but very immobile. And Set is so good at getting on top of ADs and just making their life absolute hell. King's got it even worse because like the Kaiser's coming in and killing him. Usually you would just have to like spend 10 years killing Set and that's annoying enough, right?
Yeah.
But King is actually getting threatened when the Set is leaping in on top of him. And it doesn't matter whether it's a flank angle or like the front door with Shonefire popping on top of his old friend King from a showstopper. It is just so tough for King to play these fights out. So if Cloud9 do find a way in this game, it is going to be some very impressive team fighting.
It would need a miracle. It would have to start now.
Oh, big ulti out of Big again. Finds 3. King is Viper. It's just such a problem. King gonna get left on already and Fire deletes him. And NoOrg, I think this might be the fight that brings it all home as Copy goes golden. Big Dashan still fighting it up as the double goes over to Fire. Copy gonna suffer the first death. The laser just barely gonna miss. Bananda with all the speed you could ever ask for is gonna chase down the Zoe and make sure that death comes through. And that is the ace for NoOrg as they will take the victory march down mid lane.
There it is. Teleport coming in from Fire. They have a minion wave, and these are long death timers from Cloud9. What a journey it's been for these guys. A tumultuous road, but here they are. Got knocked down to the losers bracket, but they stand tall today.
The longest journey they could ask for, but it will be victory once again. NoOrg, no problem. Fire said it was just winning amateur with some extra steps, and Raz, those steps are finished.
Welcome to Proving Grounds, the first split, and it's an amateur team that makes that run. They were dominant in the amateur circuit. They come through, and there are stories aplenty, right? For me, you go through all these players, Big on his Alistar, his Rel, like he has been incredible throughout like his performances throughout not only the entire split when it mattered today. And then of course, Viper. Viper is an assassin, man, even on the biggest of tanks. Big congratulations to him and the team on taking this win.
Yeah, King of Amateur versus King of Academy, and at this time, it is Fire and friends that do manage to take the victory in the sweetest way possible, right? Like, running it back against the team that beat you in the upper bracket and beating them with the same scoreline. Like, it wasn't even 5 games. Didn't even give them a chance to try and win the series, right? So just shut them out at 3.
That's true. Man, that's why I love losers bracket. That's why I like having 2 chances, having a second chance, so you can look back at the old VODs. Both teams have the opportunity to do that, but one team will be able to look back at that and say, we lost for these amount of reasons. So the skirmishes that happen topside, just not either don't let that happen, or what we saw, just be better at that. Bring one more member. Big was always a part of it. Value had some great games as well. Started the series with a pentakill, by the way.
Yeah.
These players definitely feel like they're owed something after performances like these.
Yeah, just a stellar series. So fun here in the Proving Grounds as Cloud9 Academy continue to answer back against Noah. But when we come back from the break, we'll have the analyst desk breaking down the final game.
Welcome back for the Verizon post-game interview. Just as we have been doing all week long, we have our valued guest here directly with us on the analyst desk. And we are so happy to have Value here. No org have declared themselves the champions of Proving Grounds. Hype all around. Value, just give us the lowdown on how you're feeling after that amazing series.
I'm feeling incredible. After the first series in this whole tournament, we were fighting over who has to do the interview, and the first thing I said was, I'm going to do the final. So I manifested this, and I'm happy to be here. And it was a wild ride, and we made it.
To hear.
It very much showed in your level of play, perhaps, too, that you wanted to come and join us here on the analyst desk. We were very impressed with what you brought to the table. As a team, you have been through such a journey throughout this season. Is there anything that you can tell us about the immediate reactions, maybe, from some of you and your teammates once you realize that you have achieved the championship title?
I was screaming my head off. I couldn't even hear my teammates because I was drowning out the call. I was so hyped. So I'm sure we're all feeling incredible right now. Like, we put so many hours into this. Like, not only did we play hundreds of scrims, but we literally played like hundreds of games too, which is like unheard of for a typical professional split. So we've been grinding really hard, and it all paid off. So very thankful.
Oh, yes, the grind does pay off in the end for all of you. And we'll continue to get to ask you some questions as we go through some of the moments of this game. I know our analysts here, Emily Rand and Rafa, are excited to get into it as well with the changes that we saw coming. Rafa, you've been the advocate here for Proving Grounds on the amateur side for some time. What is your initial response to how things were going down here at the top of game number 4?
This is my boy right here, man. Rock the King and the rest of No Org coming through the slums. No org, no sponsor, no money, just 5 Smurf players and 2 crack coaches. Come on, man. How can you not be happy for these guys?
I love that you
know,
bleeped
right?
yourself out there. That's very impressive.
Hey, we got to keep it, clean for the family-friendly audience at home. But, yes.
Yeah, keep it clean, dive out a little analysis. Rafa, let's go ahead and hop into this draft. We did see some changes, though. It did not stop No Org from the overall victory.
Yeah, so, and I would love to pick your brain on this value, as you guys were the ones going over the comms and discussing what was priority for you guys. Obviously, we've seen that the Hecarim has been kind of the favored jungler in this Udyr Hecarim handshake, but then you guys going for the Rel first overall, something that we were really impressed with, not only your play in this series, but also your support and Big. We across the board, we felt like both of you guys have stepped up immensely within this series compared to the prior series matchup against Cloud9 on Thursday.
Yeah, shout out to Big. His experience has helped me tremendously. Like, he's always giving me critiques on what I could be doing better and really pushing me the best player that I can be. And he's also patient with me when I do make mistakes. And I feel like he's really leveled up my play by giving me his like inside scoop on what it is to be like an LCS caliber player.
And one thing I wanted to ask is, I noticed that with these engages, it was primarily Big and Viper, kind of in a 1-2 tandem, either Rel first and then a set follow-up, or a set first and then a Rel follow-up, as we see here. One thing that I was super impressed with is how you immediately were repositioning to try to get into, assassinate either King or Copy. What is that communication like, or were you just like, okay, I'm going in? And obviously, unfortunately, you do end up dying here, but...
Yeah, when we saw the team comps for like, okay, their only main damage sources are Jinx and Zoe, and like Jinx does like twice the Zoe damage if it's not like in like a poke scenario. So I was saying like, yo, get me CC on Jinx and I will just go in. Like, I'll go 1-for-1 if I have to, because that's winning the fight. So my job is to get on top of Jinx and be hitting tanks in the meanwhile. So just waiting for one of my engagers to get the angle, and I was always looking for it. Like, even if I'm hitting front, I'm trying to pan my camera on the back line.
Nice. We were so appreciative of the level of focus that you had in that game to make sure that you executed effectively. I do have to ask you about the moment, though, where you did get picked off mid by Zoe. What was just ultimately going through your brain at that moment to ensure that you could stay in the game?
That was probably my biggest mistake of the whole series. I felt really bad after that, because we were talking about how we were going to set up for Dragon, and I have zero reason to be hitting that mid wave. I was just kind of being cocky, walking up like, all right, if he portal jumps on me, I'll dash, or I'll dodge to the side with my E, and then I face tank the bubble and get one shot. I'm like, all right, well, I ruined the drag fight for my team. And then they were trying to be heroes and save the day, and then they all went after me. And I'm like, oh no, not only did I make a big mistake, but then everybody in my team died for it too. So I'm like, all right, I may have just ruined this game off of eating that bubble. But
no.
we kept calm, cool, and collected. And like, you can't tilt over those plays, like we make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that's been super impressive about your team is how you have recovered, and not just in an individual play like that, but like in terms of looking at a loss, right? The initial loss to C9, and then going in here. Game 2, arguably, I would say, you were set up to win, made some mistakes, and C9 were able to capitalize on them. How did you guys recover from that mentally?
Well, I mean, losing games like that suck and all, but at the same time, it's like, all right, we were in a winning spot and we chose to lose pretty much. So like, that's still good for your confidence, because you know that you're in control of the game, so you can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you will be in the driver's seat, and we just have to not make those slip ups, and we'll be in a great spot. So I don't think we were sweating it too much. Just bounce back, stay strong, and get the dub.
And you didn't just bounce back, you bounced forward pretty aggressively in a lot of these fights. I mean, you really seem to have your head in the game here. And Val, you mentioned that Big has offered a lot, but I just want to know what you have been focusing on to be able to have the confidence to make these type of plays.
Well, I've been playing in like other events that have helped my confidence tremendously. Like when you're playing on this stream with like 10K people watching, and you're playing in like money match versus double lift with 100K people watching, like this game feels casual. I feel like I'm scrimming, so it helps a lot. Like I don't get the same kind of nerves. Like if anything, I get amped because I'm like full focus on the game. I'm having a ton of caffeine. I'm like getting into my prep, and then I can perform even better because the pressure elevates me.
I mean, yeah, Ross knows he's speaking the truth here. I mean, going from, a 40K viewership money match against, some of the biggest pros in NA LCS history and double lift sneaky, just playing grand finals, proving ground seems like a walk in the park, right?
Yeah, I'm literally just smurfing. It's okay.
There you
I'm
go.
wearing my Smurf shirt. I'm just yawning Smurf.
With a shirt like that, I feel like you appreciate great artwork. And there was an analyst on our desk that did create some artwork for you in celebration of NoOrg's victory. You can see it right there. Look at your boys coming through with the victory.
I can't see it.
You can't see it?
The people on stream will definitely be able to. I'm sure you're going to get some clips and tags in it. Basically, just kind of thinking about the celebratory nature that we have had on the desk here for NoOrg having the victory, memory aside. That's basically what that picture encapsulates. We'll have you have the surprise later. But how has it been kind of being a champion of the amateur scene? And the first time we're seeing LCS Proving Grounds happen, right? Amateur facing off against Academy. How have you all been making the most of that opportunity to continue developing on an individual level, but still also executing so well as a team collectively?
Well, I think it just comes down to practice. Like it's really easy to go into practice and be like, okay, we're playing against like an academy team that we want to like show them up. We want to really win these scrims and show them who's boss. But winning scrims every day isn't going to get you to this championship. Like we really had to be self-critical and just kind of focus on the processes that helped us improve and just take it one step at a time. Like it's such a long season with so many games that like it's really important that you make the most out of each day because it's all cumulative. And then by the time you get to the end, it'll be like the compound interest of all your efforts. So I think we worked harder than most every team, at least from what I can see. Obviously, I can't see what they're doing on the inside, but I know every single day that we had available, for the most part, we were using it to full effect.
And I know that even Raz, who is casting the series that you just played in, was talking about how everyone individually on the side of NoOrg did step up, really contributing to this overall championship that you have all earned. We do have to award the title here at Proving Grounds, though, for an individual player, awarding player of the series. And today, this actually went to Big, and we really saw him come through. Yeah. You were telling us some of the great things that you have learned from him, but why don't you just tell us a bit more about what he contributes to the team overall, especially in these moments with these crucial engages on the rel today?
Oh yeah, he had some game-winning engages today, and I don't think I would look nearly as half as good as I do if I didn't have such an elite support laning with me. So he's just all-around great player. Like not only do you see the great engages that he makes, but he's like one of the most level-headed voices in our team, like always giving us direction, setting up game plans, tracks sums, like setting up win conditions, giving feedback and draft for matchups. I don't know, he just does it all, man. He's incredible.
And I'm actually kind of curious about that because when we were watching the drafts, not just today, but in your series against 100 Thieves, that adaptation that happened so swiftly going into game number 3 in the drafting stage, is it Big that is kind of leading the charge mostly when it comes to making those decisions, or is this something that you all collectively have come upon?
I think it's almost always collective. Like people give input and then everybody else bounce ideas off one another. But we have, not only do we have like a stacked roster of great players, but we have 2 incredible coaches with LCS experience too. So I think that giving us like a 7-man unit to like talk about things, we are like usually more prepared than a lot of the other teams, or at least adapting between drafts. And it was pretty obvious what they wanted to do in that 100 set. Like their son of Tom Kench wasn't working in 2 games. We're like, okay, they need to mix it up. We even thought they might mix it up in game 2. So we're like, all right, we'll pre-ban the hyper carry. I've thought about doing that in this game because I'm like, we knew they were going to play Jinx game 4. Like we knew it, but then we were like, okay, if they're going Ali Heck and we're playing Kai'Sa, we can just dive the Jinx and it's not peeled enough. So I don't know, there's so many variables that go into it. It's hard to say exactly what happens. It's all nuanced based on the circumstance.
Mm-hmm. And following up on that, the adaptations that you went into or were aware of this series versus, the previous series, and now that you guys have cemented yourselves not only the kings of amateur, but also toppling the kings of academy, looking forward into the summer split. I don't know if you are at at liability to disclose or share any plans for you and the rest of this team going into summer, or are you still figuring things out?
We're still figuring things out. I can't say anything definitively yet. I know all 5 of us want to play pro, and I think that by winning this tournament, we've showed people that we should have an opportunity to do so. But I can't speak to what's actually going to happen next because no idea. Just hoping for the best.
The best. It's all we can hope for. We got the best of the action today, thanks to you all bringing it to us directly. And as we finish out our spring, though, we do want to thank Verizon for partnering with us here in Proving Grounds and helping us unite all the competitors in amateur and academy. I mean, looking ahead to summer, we've got tons of academy and amateur action coming your way. Value, what teams and players do you think that you are going to have your eye on for summer split? I know things are still kind of up in the air, but just thinking of who really stood out in your mind as future competition or teammates?
I mean, if Nowhere doesn't stay together, I'm going to watch out for my other teammates and other teams because we're the best in every single role. So if we split up, there might be a contention for the first spot. So we'll see what next split has in store for us, but it's too early to tell. I mean, other rosters may change too, so it's too easy to speak to, or it's too hard to speak to exactly what's going to be going on with that.
Yeah, so
But at
much
the end of the
happening,
day, it's like,
so
if you do your thing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, it's one of those things where at the end of the day, you don't really need to be too concerned about everybody else because as long as you're putting in 100% yourself, aside from the preparation that you do for the actual team, like, it's such a mental game with yourself that if you're in your best form, there's nobody that can stop you. Or at least that's how I feel about Nord.
And Value, I gotta say, whether it's here in the LCS Proving Grounds or the many tournaments you have competed in before, it has been such a pleasure getting to watch you and your development and bring home this championship title to you and the rest of your teammates. Is there anything that you would like to say on behalf of your team to those that have supported you all to get to this moment?
Thank you to all the supporters. It's been an incredible journey with all you guys backing us. We had a great run. I'm so thankful we could actually win because there were many times this split where things were uncertain, like when we lost our sponsor or when we lost sets we shouldn't have or when we dropped the losers bracket. Like to have gone through all that and then came out on top, I think that I've created some memories and some bonds with my teammates that like you can't really replicate unless you're actually like in a competitive environment day in and day out with your brothers. So it's been a good run and I'm very thankful to each and every one of them. I think all of us should be getting pro spots. If not this split, then maybe in the fall when more roster shakes up. But I hope by next year we're all in Academy or LCS, and I wish the best to each and every one of them. It's been a great run.
Value, we appreciate the passion that you and everyone have brought to the table. Thanks for such a show today. Whew. Standing up for the Academy side. That is going to do it for us here on the broadcast, though. A special thank you to Emily Rand and Rafa and all of the analysts that joined us on the desk today, as well as our casters. So on behalf of the casters, myself, and the entire remote broadcast crew, along with those that participated on both the Academy and amateur sides, thank you so much for tuning in. We've got more action to come throughout the year, and you will not want to miss it. Until then, my friends, we'll see ya. Good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night.